Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Mental Mondays, and thanks for tuning in this week. And all you regulars know what's going on here. And if you're new to the channel and you say, "Well, this is intuitive angling. Why aren't you fishing or talking about fishing?" Mental Mondays is something we do once a week. Usually doesn't have anything to do with fishing. It's just a good time to take a little break from it. And I usually talk about some topics that sort of stretch your brains a little bit and maybe offer some tips and advice that might help you guys out if you're struggling with certain aspects of your life. So, welcome everybody if it's your first time. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about procrastination, anxiety, and depression, and sort of how they're interconnected a little bit. And we've talked a little bit about anxiety and depression before on the channel, but I really want to sort of tie it in again to procrastination a little bit more because I tell you what, it's something that I see it more and more all the time. I see people that procrastinate, people that have anxiety and depression more than I ever have my entire life. I mean, it's just almost commonplace now. And I think there's a lot of different reasons for that. I think in our society in general, as our society gets more technologically advanced, complicated, and we sort of disconnect ourselves a little bit from nature and from each other. I think that tends to contribute to that. I think that those three factors together, especially depression and anxiety, I think a lot of that comes from your upbringing. I mean, I think there's certain things that happen when you're younger that really affect people negatively, and it manifests into depression and anxiety as you get older. And in some cases, I think there may be some type of a chemical imbalance. I am no doctor, and I want to preface this to say I'm not giving professional opinions here. I'm giving my opinions as somebody who really observes the human condition from sort of a third party perspective, and sort of trying to share with you guys what I've seen and learned in life so far. So I'm by no means any clinical expert on it, but given that, I do think that's a combination. I think it's sort of a mix or a combination of something that happened when you were younger and maybe some chemical imbalance with that. But a couple of different things that are tied into that. We'll talk a little bit about it, identifying it, then we'll talk a little bit about maybe some things you can do to help that out. Um, one of the one of the things that I've noticed about people that procrastinate a lot is they may not be lazy people, but they're almost like when they have something that they have to do, it's almost like that they freeze up a little bit. It's almost like their anxiety or some part of their brain, just for whatever reason, they can't kick it in gear and get going on something. It doesn't make any difference if it's making a dinner reservation or cleaning your car out or cleaning your house up or whatever. It can be a wide range of things, but it just seems like there's something that just it's that combination of the anxiety and depression that just stops them from doing anything. It's almost like when you see you know a mouse freeze up or something when a cat's after it. It's sort of the same way with procrastination. I've also noticed a lot of people that procrastinate, they tend to not, and this isn't like a blanket covers everything, but one of the things I've noticed is they tend to be a little bit messier. Like they don't keep their house quite so neat, they don't keep their car quite as neat, they don't pick up things quite as much. Sort of a trait that I've noticed with that a little bit, and I think again that is tied into the anxiety and depression a little bit with that. But make no mistake about it, guys. Anxiety and depression is debilitating to a lot of different people. And I think that everybody, regardless of your situation, may have some level of anxiety and depression from time to time. But I think it ranges from somebody that has a normal level of that based upon external situations that may come into their lives that you just can't, that you may or may not have control over. I think that's natural. And some people live there. Some people live in that state of anxiety and depression permanently, and they worry about everything. They worry about things that they have no business or place worrying about. And there's everything in between that. And I think a lot of people sort of fall in between, that group of people that it really doesn't affect them at all, and some people that just can't function in society because it affects them so much with that. So a couple different things with that I would sort of offer from my point of view with that. I think a lot of it, aside from the chemical imbalance part of it that needs to be treated with medication, and make no mistake about it, medication has proved to be, very effective against anxiety and depression to a large degree. A lot of people are on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, and it works really good for them. But from the standpoint, when you're talking about some type of anxiety or depression or procrastination that doesn't have that debilitating chemical imbalance part of it, there are some practical things that you can do with it too. As far as just, habits that you can reform in your life. Because I think one of the biggest things about it is like when people procrastinate or they're anxious about something or depressed about something, if they would just simply take an action, that has a lot to do with it. It's like doing something. It doesn't make any difference what it is. Just simple action goes a long way. Let's say, for example, somebody's house is just trashed out, and it's like they just feel overwhelmed. It's like they don't know where to begin with. One of the best ways that you can get past anxiety and procrastination like that is you have to learn how to compartmentalize different aspects of your life, because that way it does not seem so overwhelming. And I think a lot of people, they get overwhelmed extremely easy by the things that most people would see as a non-issue. Some people are just completely debilitated and overwhelmed by that. So a good practice that you can have is, say for example, you start out your week and you said, God, I've just got so many things going this week that I'm just overwhelmed and I'm just like bummed out about it. I don't even know where I'm going to start at. That, you've answered your question right there. You've got to compartmentalize, and you have to take and you prioritize things that have to get done based upon, maybe a timeline or their necessity or how important it is. And you start with one of those and work on that, and you don't work on anything else. Let's say, for example, you get your house is a mess and you're so overwhelmed that it's messed up that you don't know where to begin. Start in the bathroom. Make your priority for the day, you do nothing but clean the bathroom up. And by doing that, once you accomplish that sense of accomplishment will go a long way to improving your self-esteem. It will go a long way into improving how you feel about yourself. Because your external environment, this is one of the things that you can tell yourself about just being clean in your car or truck or whatever, is the external environment that you live in says a lot about your internal environment as a human, as far as your emotional state. So by doing stuff like that, it benefits you. It's like when you get your bathroom clean, it feels great. Who does not like to walk into a clean bathroom? And then the next day, make your bedroom a priority. Get that bedroom looking good and nice and feeling good and smelling good. That makes you feel better about everything. Same with your car. Get out there, work on your car one day. Get it nice and clean, get it smelling good. You're going to feel even better. But by putting yourself into action and doing something, you're going to feel better about yourself. And one of the things that you can do about that, and a good habit is how you get into that, is don't negotiate with yourself, guys. Do not negotiate. It's like, if you've got something that you don't want to do and you know you've got to do it, don't try to sit there and say, man, I need to put this off, or I really don't want to do that, or maybe I can do that tomorrow, or man, I just don't feel that good today. Maybe let's put it off for the day or the next day. Don't negotiate with yourself. If you got something to do, get up off the couch, get up on your feet and do it. And that's called discipline. And once you stop negotiating with yourself and you start putting discipline and self-discipline into your life is going to be so much more happy and joyful and rewarding if you do that. And that discipline is something that you can be taught that to some degree, but ultimately you have to reach down inside yourself and be disciplined yourself. And it's, make no mistake about it, it's not easy. Every single one of us has to deal with that. I mean, you guys know that I go to the gym a lot. There's days that I don't want to go. I could make 100 excuses, and I've got stuff to do. I'm busy. I may not feel that great about it, feel that great or something like that. I may be tired, but I don't negotiate with myself. I get in there and do it, regardless how I feel. And it's the same about anything in your life. If you start incorporating that discipline into your life, I can assure you your problems with procrastination and depression and anxiety will be lessened, and that, to whatever degree that remains to be seen. But you have to take responsibility for your own actions with that. And there's some things out there that you can do that, and it's just habitual. And it helps if you have people that can motivate you, and it helps if you have people that can encourage you. But one of the things that I found out about being around people like that is that a lot of people don't respond very well to any type of advice or constructive criticism if they're in that state of being depressed, anxious, or worried or procrastinated or something like that. It's almost like you'll make them mad if you start giving them some advice on that. So it's a pretty difficult situation. But I think one of the first things that people need to realize is they just need to be aware of their own situation. And if you're not honest with yourself and you're not aware of your own situation, then you can't begin to make improvements in your life. And you may be stuck in that cycle of depression and anxiety and procrastination your whole life. And nobody wants to live there. That's not a place where you want to live. There's nothing rewarding, beneficial, or joyful about that. But anyway, that's just a few tips there, guys. I think that obviously seek help from some professional. I don't claim to be here. I'm just trying to share some stuff that I've learned on this life so far since I've been here, and continue to learn every day. So anyway, hope it helps somebody out there, and we'll see you guys next week.